Hello, this is Sanjeevani Panditkar presenting here the topic manufacturing of Portland cement. Before moving towards the manufacturing process, first of all, let's see what cement is. This cement word is not new. We all know that it is used for construction purpose. Now, what makes the cement to use for construction purpose is that it is having adhesive and cohesive properties, and because of this property it is capable of bonding materials like stones, bricks, building blocks. The various ingredients which are present in cement are lime, silica, alumina, calcium sulfate, iron oxide, sulfur trioxide and alkalis. Now, what are the functions of these ingredients? Lime is the main constituent. It is the principal constituent of cement. The proportion of lime how to maintain properly. There should not be excess or there should not be lesser amount of lime, because if lime is present in excess, that makes the cement to expand and disintegrate, while the lesser amount makes the cement quick setting, and both leads to decrease in strength of cement. Therefore, have to maintain the proper proportion. About silica, silica gives strength to the cement, while alumina makes the cement quick setting. It should not be present in excess, because excess of alumina in cement, it weakens the cement. Next ingredient is calcium sulfate, that is gypsum. It helps to retard the setting action of cement. Actually, it enhances the initial setting time of cement. Next ingredient is iron oxide, which provides color, strength and hardness to the cement. Sulfur trioxide is responsible for soundness property of the cement. If sulfur trioxide is present in excess, that will reduces the soundness of cement. Last ingredient is alkali. Alkali, if present in excess, it causes cement effervescent. That means there will be migration of salts through the porous material, and that leads to formation of coating. Now, about the process, the manufacturing process of cement involves various steps which are given here, that is selection of raw materials, crushing, grinding and mixing of raw materials, burning of raw materials, which leads to formation of clinkers. Next step is the cooling of those hot clinkers, then grinding of clinkers and addition of gypsum, and last step is storage and packing. First step, that is selection of raw materials. The various raw materials required for the manufacturing of cement are calcareous material, argillaceous materials, gypsum and fuel. Calcareous material is the source of lime, that includes limestone, chalk. Argillaceous material, which act as a source of alumina, silica and iron oxide. Example includes clay, shale, slate. Gypsum, that is hydrated calcium sulfate. It is used to delay the setting time of cement. And last is the fuel. Fuel is required for burning of raw material. That includes either powdered coal or fuel oil. Second step of manufacturing includes crushing, grinding and mixing of raw materials. Crushing is carried out by using gyratory crusher. Using gyratory crushers, the raw materials are converted into small pieces having size 2 to 5 centimeter. Now these small pieces are then sent to ball mill or tube mill, where the small pieces are now converted into powdered form. These powdered form of raw materials now are mixed together by the process known as mixing. Mixing is carried out by either dry process or wet process. Now see what is dry process and what is wet process used for mixing of raw materials required for manufacturing of cement. About dry process, in case of dry process, the raw materials, that is both calcareous and argillaceous materials, these are crushed separately and these are powdered separately and then stored in a separate hopper. Now these powdered ingredients are now mixed together in a required proportion, and that mixture is called as raw mix, which is then fed into rotary kiln. Now moving towards the wet process, here difference is that argillaceous material, it is washed with water to remove the adhering organic matter, while the calcareous material, it is crushed, powdered and stored in a silos. Now these two materials, that is calcareous material and argillaceous materials, these are then allowed to flow in a channel and then to the grinding mills to form the slurry. This slurry is now then sent to corrected basin where chemical composition is adjusted and it is then called as corrected slurry. Corrected slurry is now fed into rotary kiln. In rotary kiln, burning step is carried out. So our next step is burning of raw materials. Burning of raw material, as I said, it is carried out in rotary kiln. Rotary kiln is a long steel tube having dimensions 2.5 to 3 meter in diameter and 90 to 120 meter in length. This rotary kiln is kept slightly inclined and it is capable of rotating at 1 rpm. We can see the diagram for rotary kiln. Here is the rotary kiln. It is a long steel tube and you can see this is kept slightly inclined. Now the raw mix, if dry process is used, or corrected slurry if wet process is used, it is introduced from its upper end through the hopper while the burning fuel and air is injected from the lower end. We can see from the diagram, here is the upper end from where the raw mix or corrected slurry it is get introduced, while from the other end we can see here the powdered coal and air, hot air, it is injected from the lower end. This rotary kiln is divided into different zones depending upon the temperature conditions and reactions which occurs. The different zones are drying zone, preheating zone, calcination zone and clinkering zone. Drying zone, it is the upper part of rotary kiln from where the ingredients is introduced. Here the temperature will be lesser. It is about 400 degrees Celsius, lesser in the sense compared to other zone. Here temperature is 400 degrees Celsius where there occurs the evaporation of water. Next to that, that is the upper central part which is known as preheating zone. Here temperature is somewhat greater, that is 400 to 700 degrees Celsius, where occurs decomposition of clay and magnesium carbonate. Next to this is the calcination zone. It is the lower central part of rotary kiln. Here temperature is 1000 to 1500 degrees Celsius and here occurs decomposition of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate on decomposition, it gives quicklime. Now the last zone, it is the lowermost part of rotary kiln where fuel is directly injected. Here, because of direct injection of fuel, the temperature will be very high, that is 1500 to 1700 degrees Celsius, and this zone is characterized by the formation of clinkers. Now see what clinkers are. Clinkers are formed in the clinkering zone and these are formed by the reactions of lime, silica, alumina and iron oxide. We can see here there will be formation of dicalcium silicate, tricalcium silicate, tricalcium aluminate and tetracalcium aluminoferrite. These products will be formed in the clinkering zone. Now these calcium aluminates or calcium silicates, these are fused together and they form small hard greyish stones which are known as clinkers. So clinkers are small hard greyish stones formed by the fusion of aluminates and silicates of calcium. Those are called clinkers. The clinkers which are formed in the clinkering zone will be very hot because of high temperature, that is 1500 to 1700 degrees Celsius. Therefore, clinkers have to cool. So the next step is the cooling of clinkers. The hot clinkers are then sent to another small rotary kiln, and in that small rotary kiln we can see in the diagram at the base of this rotary kiln there will be one more small rotary kiln, and in this rotary kiln a cool air is injected from the opposite direction from where we are introducing the hot clinkers. Now because of this cooled air, the hot clinkers are cooled down and there will be formation of cold clinkers. Now these cold clinkers are then sent to ball mill where grinding is carried out. So the next step is the grinding of clinkers, and during grinding process in the ball mill gypsum is added. Near about 2 to 3% gypsum is added, which act as a retarding agent for early setting of cement. Now cement will be ready. Ground cement is then stored in a silos and from which it is fed to the automatic packing machine. This is all about the manufacturing process, and we have seen the different steps involved in the manufacturing of process. Thank you.